Oh boy, this is going to be a good one today. This is like Watergate, but Ford edition. So I guess we're going to dub this as Fordgate because we just got some leaked information on the new Ford Raptor R right before it is getting officially released just a week from today's date. And so yeah, we got to go over all of the juicy details. Before getting into the video though, as always, if you're going to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below, and let's get right into it. So there has been a ton of leaked information on the new Ford Raptor R leading up to its official release, which like I said is happening about a week from today, and we just got some juicy details leaked. And I guess that we will dub this person as Deep Throat, but again, like I said, for the Fordgate instead of Watergate. I don't know, I had to make the reference. But anyways, the specs that were leaked are absolutely insane, like in terms of what the Ford Raptor R is going to have. And so we're going to kind of lead up to the bits that we initially got and then this new bit of information, and you guys are probably just going to be completely blown out of the water. So initial bits that we got with the Ford Raptor R was that it's going to be a Ford Raptor and it's going to have a V8 under the hood instead of an EcoBoost V6 like what they've had under the hood of the Raptor since the 2017 model year. And that's all we got initially, right? A lot of people speculated the different engines that they could use under the hood. Some people thought it was going to be the Coyote V8. Some people thought it was going to be the 5.2-liter supercharged V8 that's under the hood of the GT500. And again, there's just a lot of speculation going about. Well, then there were some leaked window stickers on the new Ford Raptor R, and they all said 5.2L on the window sticker, and they also said 37-inch tires as standard equipment on it. And so basically, what we learned from these window stickers is that, well, the Ford Raptor R is going to have the supercharged 5.2-liter V8 from the Shelby GT500, and it's going to have 37-inch tall tires as standard, similar to the new Bronco Raptor, and again, the performance package on the regular F-150 Raptor. And it only makes sense for the Raptor R to have the biggest, beefiest tires, right? On top of that, these leaked window stickers, right, they showed that the seats were the Recaro seats that are in the performance package with the Raptor, except they are black instead of blue because it seems like they're going for a sportier theme with the Raptor R. And then on top of that, there were a bunch of spy shots of test mules for the Raptor R, and some of them were completely undisguised, except a small badge in the front grille that was kind of covered up that people assumed would be the R logo for the Raptor R. And that was pretty much all of the information that we had up to this point. And on top of that, Ford did have a video that they posted on some of their social media of a V8 powered Raptor R going through the desert and doing donuts and all that kind of stuff. And so that kind of gave us a little bit more of a glimpse in terms of what the truck's going to sound like and, you know, somewhat of what it's going to perform like, at least from an aerial view, right? And so then everyone was kind of like, okay, cool. It's going to be a Raptor R. It's going to have this 5.2-liter supercharged V. It's going to have 37-inch tall tires, and that's that. But this is where things get pretty crazy when you actually dig into the official specs. So if you look at the regular F-150 Raptor with the 37 performance package, it weighs about 6,000 pounds. And this is something that people were worried about with the Raptor R, is the weight. Because if you look at the Ram TRX, it weighs about 6,700 pounds. I'm talking about the vehicle's weight after fluids and everything are added to it. And so people are like, oh, well, the Raptor R is going to suffer from the same thing that the Ram TRX suffers from, which is having a really heavy front end because of the V8, and that added weight is going to run handling dynamics. Well, guess what? Ford has worked some magic, and some of it is just the fact that the 5.2-liter that they're using is not as heavy as people realize, but they have worked some magic to where the Ford Raptor R's official weight is barely more than the regular Raptor. So the Raptor R is going to weigh roughly 6,200 to 6,300 pounds. So it's going to be several hundred pounds lighter than the Ram TRX and just a couple hundred pounds heavier compared to a regular EcoBoost Raptor with, again, the 37 performance package, which is just absolutely mind-blowing. And so it seems like Ford is basically giving us a truck that's going to have a big V8 and tons of power, and we're not really going to have too much of an issue with weight. And since this truck doesn't weigh that much more than a regular Raptor, they didn't have to change as much with the shocks as we initially thought. Basically, they just had to retune some things with the shocks and with the springs and everything. Again, there is a little bit more weight in the front end, but it's not as much as we thought, right? I mean, the added weight is equivalent to someone literally adding aftermarket front and rear bumpers to a truck and then a chase rack. Basically that'll roughly add about 200-300 pounds to a truck. And so that's the weight amount that we're talking about. And so again, they had to do a little bit with the shocks and suspension, but not as much as we originally thought. And so it's going to have a very, very similar system to the Raptor with the EcoBoost and the 37 Performance package. They did have to make the truck a little bit more rigid from a structural perspective, similar to what they did with the Ford Bronco Raptor. And this is just because of the forces that are going to be put on the truck because of how much power it has. So there are going to be some changes to the frame and the overall structure of the truck for the Raptor R model. That has also been confirmed. Well, I shouldn't say confirmed, but by the Deep Throat over at Ford with our Fordgate situation with the Raptor R. But the most exciting news by far is the power outputs for the V8. So there's a lot of people that thought that they were going to have to basically neuter the V8 to make it so that it would work with the truck just for axle health and just be able to handle all of the off-roading. And well, Ford figured everything out to make it so they did not have to decrease the power whatsoever. And so this new Raptor R is going to get everything. It's going to get all of the juice. It's going to have all 760 horsepower and 625 pound-feet of torque that the Shelby GT500 has. It's going to be routed through a 10-speed automatic transmission, very similar to the unit used in the EcoBoost Raptor. But again, this transmission's kind of been beefed up a little bit to be able to handle the extra power. And again, this is another reason why the truck weighs a little bit more than the EcoBoost Raptor. It's not just the engine, it's also, partially the transmission. And then, like I said, there were some structural components added to the truck that also add weight to the truck. But what this means basically overall is that we're going to have a truck that is going to be lighter than the Ram TRX. It's going to have bigger tires than the Ram TRX. It's going to have the same amount of travel as the TRX with these bigger tires. It's going to have the same 13 inches of travel in the front, 14 inches in the back. More power, right? Like, this truck is going to be absolutely insane. The last thing is going to be the driveline. This is actually, the new Raptor R is actually going to have a somewhat standard four-wheel drive to two-wheel drive system. So the truck will have two-wheel drive, which is going to be like crazy burnout mode, basically. It's also going to have four-wheel auto, four-wheel high, and four-wheel low. Ford has tweaked a bunch of stuff with the four-wheel auto, especially, and the four-wheel high to be able to handle different sorts of circumstances. So the four-wheel auto now is kind of like your off-road burnout mode is the best way to put it. So this is the mode that you're kind of expected to use if you want to do like drifts and everything. Like, again, if you guys haven't seen the video, just go look up Ford Performance's page on Instagram and you can see the truck doing donuts and everything. If you're going to go do that stuff, then four-wheel auto is going to be the mode you're most likely going to use. You can try two-wheel drive, but with how much power this truck has, you're going to pretty much just dig yourself into the ground, which if you want to see something like that, I have a video where I did that with my Raptor. I did a burnout in the desert for the gender reveal. But the point that I'm trying to make is this four-wheel drive system is going to be pretty advanced, and it's going to give you grip when you need it, but then it's also going to let you have some fun as well, because that's what this truck's going to be all about, is having fun, but then also being able to perform at an extremely high level. And so with all this information that, some of it new and some of it not exactly new, because again, it's stuff that we kind of figured, this puts the Raptor R as the craziest off-road truck ever produced, because like I said, it has obscene amounts of power. It's going to have more power than the Ram TRX, so it's going to accelerate faster than the Ram TRX just from a power perspective, but also it weighs less than the Ram TRX, and it barely weighs more than the EcoBoost Raptor. And so it's just going to be like the truck to get if you can get your hands on one. And well, we'll see what Ford does in terms of their whole ordering system with this new Raptor R. Hopefully they, somewhat open the floodgates so that regular people can get a hold of the truck with just the crazy figures that this truck is going to have. But I guess time will tell on that. So I just want to cap things off by going over fuel economy and pricing, and then we'll just end today's video. So first off, from a fuel economy perspective, despite the fact this truck is going to come standard with 37-inch tall tires and will most likely keep the Raptor's standard 410 rear end, which is crazy because the TRX has a 355 rear end, and so the Raptor R is just going to launch so much harder. Anyways, It's going to be rated somewhere between 10 to 12 miles per gallon around town is what it sounds like. And then highway is going to be like 13 to 14 miles per gallon, which again, you got to give it a break, right? It's got a supercharged V8 under the hood. It's most likely going to have the 410 rear end and 37-inch tall tires. And so, yeah, it's not going to be the most economical vehicle. If you want slightly better fuel economy, EcoBoost Raptor, and again, the EcoBoost is also going to be quite a bit less expensive. And so let's get into that pricing. So a fully loaded EcoBoost Raptor right now, before dealer markups, is like an $87,000 truck, roughly. The new Raptor R is going to come standard fully loaded. And so it's going to have all of the interior options. The only things that you're really going to be able to change is basically exterior color, and then if you want bed liner or not, graphics, moonroof, you know, the normal stuff that they let you add or subtract from a already fully loaded Gen 3 Raptor, right? Starting price is going to be about $107,000 before destination and before any other options. And so fully loaded, if you added like all the graphics, the bed liner, the moonroof, all the options that you can normally add to a fully loaded Raptor, you're going to be just shy of $120,000 for this truck. And that is obviously before dealer markups. Dealerships with Raptors have been notorious for marking them up. And so I'm sure this truck, as soon as it comes out of the gate, is probably going to be priced at like $300,000 at some dealerships. Like they're going to go straight to the moon. But realistically, I think this truck on average is probably going to be going for $30,000 to $60,000 over MSRP with most dealerships. But again, the actual MSRP is going to be in the, you know, lowish 100s, which I know is a lot more expensive than everyone expected. But look at the Ram TRX. The Ram TRX is still selling like crazy, and a loaded up TRX stickers for about $105,000 to $107,000. And so, well, Ford knows they can get the money, so they're going to ask for the money. And then Ford dealerships also know they can get the money, so they're going to ask for the money. And so, yeah, time will tell in terms of, you know, how accurate this all is once Ford gives us the official specs just a few days from now. But I figured I'd make a video about it because it sounds pretty dang accurate. That's all I'm going to say. And so with that being said, I will see all of you in the next video.